Police were called because of leaves? That's gonna cost ya. My friend keeps a very clean yard. In the fall, he likes to get all of the leaves before it rains and they become a pain to pull up. His neighbor doesn't care about his yard as he has owned the house for a few years and still has not moved in. He lives a few states away. As my friend was finishing up sucking the leaves in his machine, some of them blew into the neighbor's driveway, maybe 20 leaves total. My friend finished up and went inside. About 20 minutes later, there was a knock on the door and a squad car outside. The officer said they received a complaint about leaves being blown into the driveway. The neighbor had been watching on his doorbell cam and decided this transgression warranted police intervention. You could tell the officer was visibly annoyed as my friend asked the officer to look at his yard and then his neighbor's. The pettiness. The neighbor had an old car shipped and dropped in the driveway about 8 months ago where it has sat ever since. Remember, he still lives a few states away. While my friend told the officer he would clean the leaves promptly, he asked the officer if he could do him a favor. Check the car for proper tags. The officer saw the car in question and gave a slight smile. While my friend cleaned the leaves out of the driveway, the officers were walking around the car looking at the VIN and running information. You could hear the neighbor on his doorbell asking what the problem was. There is a law that any car that is in the driveway must have tags and insurance on them. The police gave him a call and told him his car was in violation and he either needed to put the car in the garage, which would need to be lifted and dropped in the garage, or get the registration, insurance, and an e-check on the car that can't be driven taken care of within 2 weeks, or they'll be back to tow the car and ticket him. Dude cost himself a 10-hour car ride to get his car lifted and stuffed in the garage all over a few dead leaves. I have been admitted to a prestigious master's degree program in Europe, but my girlfriend is asking me to reject this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. My girlfriend, 25 female, and I, 26 male, have been dating for 3 years now, and we really love each other. We have met and began dating during our college graduation year in 2020. I had always planned to pursue a degree abroad after graduation, but my girlfriend says no to long-distance relationships. For context, my girlfriend and I are from a poor country and life here is hard. Our degree doesn't have that much weight on the international job market. Today, we are both working full-time jobs, but none of us are happy with our life here in our home country. We are very underpaid. She is an internal auditor for a big international cigarette company, but gets paid around $250 a month, and I get pretty much the same salary for being a consultant in a boutique firm. We are both unhappy of our current situation. That's why I want to go study abroad to be able to access better opportunities. My girlfriend is a very lonely person with almost no close friends, and most of the time she feels depressed when left alone. When I first introduced my plan of going abroad 1 year after our graduation, she was totally opposed to going into a long-distance relationship. She believes I am the only one that can make her happy and be able to bear living. In addition, going abroad to study had never been part of her plans. Although she complained all the time about our living conditions, it seems to me that she was fine with it. She has always believed that there has to be other ways to improve our living conditions without leaving our home country. Years went by, and last year we finally agreed that we would do our best to find international study opportunities abroad. Either we succeed together or one succeeds this year and the other has to make everything to join the other person next year. Unfortunately, I was the one who got accepted into a prestigious university in Europe while she didn't manage to get a single admission offer. Although we have already agreed on what we would do in such a situation, she is now asking me to stay with her and reject my admission offer. In her own words, "I wasn't serious when I agreed to that. I thought you would love me enough to stay with me. Let's just break up. I'll return to my miserable, lonely life and perhaps put an end to my life. Please reject your admission offer and let's try again together next year." You are not in a relationship. You are not a partner. You are a hostage. Although I love her, I believe if I refuse my admission offer, I will regret it for the rest of my life. I was lucky enough to get this offer, but right now I don't know what to do. Any advice? I would take this as a sign, okay? For you to get accepted into this university was to show you her reaction to it. And if you guys aren't even married, you guys don't even have kids, you guys have big disagreements, and she gets this dramatic that she wants to because of trying to better your life, that is not the person you want in your life. Trust me, because the manipulation will just get worse as time goes on. Because if you say yes to this, you're going to say yes to everything and it's going to boil up. And then one day you're going to explode and be like, I did this for you. I did this. I did. And then you're just going to be depressed.
Am I the asshole for suggesting my wife lower her standards so that she'll be less overwhelmed? My wife, 37 female, and I, 38 male, have 3 kids, 12, 10, and 8. She is in a constant state of overwhelm and very easily irritated, constantly complaining about how it's all too much. I, of course, am happy to help and do my fair share for the kids or household, but it's never enough because her standards are too damn high. She insists one of us has to be up at 6:45 every morning to make sure the kids are ready and make the bus, which comes at 7:45. I told her they're old enough to not need that much help already. They can all dress themselves and pour themselves cereal and milk. There's no reason we have to be up. She says that cereal isn't a good enough breakfast. They need something more substantial, especially the 12-year-old, and that the 10-year-old has ADHD and will definitely struggle without help in the morning. And anyways, she wants to see them off and kiss them goodbye for the day. So she gets up. I don't. Then she gets upset that I never give her a morning off when all she needs to do is just take the morning off when she wants and let the kids handle themselves. Also, she's super strict about screen time during the week and is exhausted and snappy from arguing about it with the kids and upset I don't support her strict limit of 2 hours a day. I say as long as homework is done, why not until bed? She says it's not healthy for them. They need to play outside or with games and toys, read some books, just entertain themselves in more ways than one. I agree they should enjoy other things, but not seeing why we have to make such a rigid limit. She also likes to get out on weekends and do stuff like zoos, museums, etc., but then complains about the planning for the outing or how grouchy the youngest gets by the end of it. And again, I say, let's just chill at home. And Viola, you've cut the work. I'm an engaged and active parent. I'm not trying to get out of it, but I don't think I should have to help my wife dig herself out of her own self-created holes. She creates the stress for herself and then turns to me to alleviate it, which I think is unfair. Am I the asshole for telling her she needs to do less and then she won't need this level of help?
Oh, that is a very, very good one.
That's a good one, man. I'm on. For the sounds of it, I'm with this dude.
Yeah.
I'm with this dude.
Really?
I'm with this
Yeah.
dude. I'm with this dude. This is very similar, like to the women I've had in my life, like mum, stepmom, aunties, and stuff like that, which is like very, very rigid. Like this is the way it has to be. This is the best way to do it. But like, bro, you can't do it, and you're depressed and unhappy, and this whole thing is toxic and stressful. Like, it's just not happening. And you just have to charge it. It's just not happening, bro. You're sacrificing your own happiness for like perceived perfect parenting, whatever like that.
I feel like there's so much pressure on women, like, to be a good mom.
Yeah.
Like,
so
like
much.
versus like the moms are held to such a higher expectation than a dad ever is.
To be a good dad, you just kind of just have to be there.
And that's
everyone's
the
like, oh my
thing.
God, you're amazing. But yeah, to be a good mom, you have to be like,
You have to do everything.
crazy.
You have to be
super
exceptional.
Yeah.
Am I wrong for refusing to pay for cake slices that my teenage daughter ate? I, female 38, am a single mom with my teenage daughter Carly, female 17. My sister, female 36, lives nearby with her husband and 2 kids, female 9 and male 7. Carly sometimes babysits her cousins on the weekends so my sister and brother-in-law can go out, usually for 3 to 4 hours. In exchange, my sister gives her 30 to 40 euro cash in hand. Now, me and my sister do not make Carly babysit. She volunteers to. She likes having the extra money to fund her Starbucks addiction without having a part-time job. Plus, the kids do love getting to see her. I'm glad she's getting to learn responsibility. But last weekend, there was a problem. A couple hours after Carly came home from babysitting, my sister calls me. It was my niece's birthday 2-ish weeks ago, and there was some leftover birthday cake in their kitchen. It was a custom-made, fancy lemon curd cake. Am I wrong for refusing to pay for cake slices that my teenage daughter ate? It was a custom-made lemon curd cake, and I remember at the party, a lot of the kids didn't want to eat it, so there were a lot of leftovers. Keep in mind the party was about 2 weeks ago, and while my daughter Carly was babysitting, she had eaten 2 slices. So my sister called and said that Carly should have asked before helping herself to the cake because it was very expensive. I apologized to my sister and told her that I would have a word with my daughter. She again mentioned that the cake was custom made and expensive and said we should be compensating her. At first, I honestly thought she couldn't be serious, but she did want me to give her money because of the cake. I mentioned that surely the cake is going bad soon if it isn't already stale. I tried to lighten up the mood, but made it clear I'm not giving her money, but she said she paid 70 euro for the cake and expects me to give her 20. I told her I will not be doing that, and she called me inconsiderate.